At this hour, the Secretaries of State and Defense are testifying before a Senate panel about the president's power to fight terrorism around the globe and efforts by Congress to weigh in. Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel is monitoring the hearing on the authorization for the use of military force, the AUMF. Joins us live with details. Good evening, Mike.
Brett, good evening. Now some lawmakers are saying is the time for a serious conversation about Congress's role in authorizing the use of military force with the nation facing serious threats. But top Trump administration officials say they do not need a new authorization.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Secretary of Defense James Mattis back on Capitol Hill for a late afternoon hearing before the Foreign Relations Committee.
Though a statement of continued congressional support would be welcome, a new AUMF is not legally required to address the continuing threat posed by al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and ISIS.
With some lawmakers saying the authorization for the use of military force, or AUMF, crafted in the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks, now being used in places like Niger, is dated.
I feel strongly that 16 years after the Congress authorized the 2001 so-called AUMF, our declaration of war against those based in Afghanistan who attacked New York and the United States on 9/11, that we have gone far afield from the scope of that initial authorization.
Virginia Democrat Senator Tim Kaine has been among those calling for lawmakers to do something about a state of war on, quote, autopilot.
It's time for Congress to finally revisit the authorization, which is badly out of date, and have a debate in full view of the American public.
A senior State Department official told Fox Tillerson would say if Congress wants to pursue a new AUMF, the Trump administration would want it to include no time constraints and no geographic restraints. The official noting that since ISIS strongholds are collapsing, ISIS fighters are moving. And since 9/11, the threats have morphed from al-Qaeda and the Taliban to ISIS and other affiliates or inspired groups.
I am concerned about the spread of ISIS throughout Africa, and that's going on, and that's part of it. And unfortunately, the threat is growing.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says Congress must be informed and has the power of the purse, but should not prevent others from doing their jobs.
Congress is not set up to be military commanders. 535 members of Congress don't sit down and designate what threats the nation faces.
The concern for the Trump administration is anything that ties the hands of the commander-in-chief. But Arizona Senator Jeff Flake noted just moments ago, not one member of the Foreign Relations panel was here 16 years ago and suggests it's time for them to get on the record. Brett?
Mike Emanuel live on the Hill. Mike, thanks.